Four, five.
Four.
Four, five.
Four.
All right. Welcome to the Dr. G Show. This is Dr. G, or wait a minute. Holly hated this stuff. Dr. G.
I don't even know what that means, y'all.
Oh, look, it's Dr. G. It's gang.
Oh, it's like G. Well, I don't do
G,
gang signs, so.
R is this, and then
Garrett?
oh, like that. There.
Dr. Garrett?
There it is. Dr. G.
It's Dr. Garrett.
That's Dr. G.
That's right.
That's our gang sign
Hi,
for the
everybody.
show. So, you guys should all post pictures of your Dr. G gang sign. I think that would be great. And that's what I should get a t-shirt made of.
Yeah.
So this is episode 174.
We were discussing it earlier.
5?
174.
4. So we're continuing with the 5 things that keep us chronically sick and dying prematurely. And so we talked about how toxic food is. We talked about how a lot of our food is banned in other countries. And so again, what we do is we just end up eating stuff that's killing us and messing up our physiology and causing us to be infertile and get cancer and heart disease, diabetes. And then we just take medication to management, or we take supplements to management, rather than stop causing the problem, right?
Right.
So the very first one we talked about it's not genetics, right? We created these sudden epidemics of these diseases. So the fact that we created sudden epidemics means that it is not genetic. It's what we have induced by what we eat and drink and breathe and rub on our skin and what we wear and how we stress. So of those 5 things, we've talked about a couple of those now. Today we have our special guest through the whole series.
Yep.
And Suzanne has a company called the Number 2 Company, where she helps women do startup businesses and websites and logos and stuff. And then she also is a
business consultant.
Yes. And so she's all like super in charge. And then she's in charge of the Wise Women ICT too, which is a really awesome thing. So today we're still blessed by her being here.
Thank you.
And
thanks everybody for watching.
She took time out of her day to join us.
Yes, absolutely. I'm going to get online here real quick, so and to remind everyone, and I'll do this maybe throughout the show, to remind everyone to share the show.
Oh yeah, share the show.
Share the show so we can put your name in a hat.
Yeah.
The next time, right?
Right.
So yep. So share, and we'll put your name in a hat for a free office visit.
Yep.
There we go.
That'd be bueno.
Awesome.
All right, so today our topic is food as medicine. So one of the things that keeps people chronically sick and dying prematurely is the fact that their doctors typically don't know that food is medicine. So Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine, said, "Let medicine be your food and food be your medicine." And he did that in 300 BC. But more importantly, the other quote that I love of his is he said, "Never treat by the chemist's pot that which you can treat by diet first." So back in 300 BC, only nutrition, only supplements, and he still said, don't be taking stuff if you're causing problems, stop causing problems. So that's what we really want to do. So there's tons of research. So now when I first started my journey, like I kind of went from the medical side and I didn't know any of this stuff. In fact, I had a friend in school that did nutrition and I thought he was just a joke and just, yeah, you're selling products, you know. And I bought Gene Carper's book, and that book was basically about food as medicine, and it was just packed with tons of research, and all the research was stuff that was published in normal journals that everybody reads, like the Journal of the American Medical Association and British Medical Journal. And so that like just suddenly turned a light, because I was always told like kind of nutrition was kind of more like folk medicine, there's not a lot of stock in it, all that stuff. And then, hey, there's Linda. And
hey, Linda.
Then I got board certified, and I had a postdoctorate in clinical nutrition. I got another board certification in clinical nutrition, and very quickly realized that all medications have only been around for about 100 years, but they all came from something that already occurred naturally. Even with this hydroxyquinolone that they want to take,
Right.
that's actually from a plant that's been around and used traditional medicine for a lot of years. So again, nothing cutting edge. There's nothing cutting edge about medication. The first blockbuster medicine was aspirin, which was from the bark of a tree. Yeah?
Not anymore.
I know.
Right.
So you could take willow bark and get rid of your headache
Right.
for free off your tree. But now aspirin is an extract of that, and then that is patented and then tested. And if it doesn't kill too many people, then it becomes medication approved by the FDA.
Mm-hmm.
But is one of the leading causes of kidney failure, and within 2 weeks, 70% will have a GI bleed. So you can either do the natural willow bark, which has thousands of biochemicals, or you can take one extract out of those thousands and end up having bleeding disorders and heart attacks, and then what's the other thing? Kidney disease. So it's really messed up.
I gotta pay attention.
Sissy. So when we talk
I'm
about
listening.
food as medicine, like it's crazy. I mean, it truly is. So in the beginning we talked about, you are just biochemicals derived from the food that your mom ate for 9 months, right? So your mom ate this food, and then all those nutrients became your tissue. And then as you grew in that womb, it was more and more nutrition from the things that she ate that became that. And then all of a sudden, once you're born, you then have to eat to replace all that biochemistry. So we're just biochemistry that eats biochemistry that supports our biochemistry until we mess it up. And then we just basically take medications and manage that for the rest of our lives.
Absolutely.
So that's a big problem,
Yeah, it is.
right?
It
So
is.
most things don't need management. We just poison ourselves and then we manage the process.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that if we can really truly think of like food as medicine, like it's just biochemistry, then all of a sudden we say, well, how do I eat to anti-age? How do I eat to get rid of headaches? How do I eat to get rid of my knee pain? How do I eat to prevent from shrinking after 40 years of age? How do I balance hormones? So all those things that animals don't have to figure out, that are just walking around eating stuff, we have to somehow figure that stuff out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we have this great disconnection from what
And
food
ibuprofen.
is.
Yep.
Yeah, so Linda's like,
Yeah.
ibuprofen.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing too. So what Linda's talking about, like, so they take willow bark, take this molecule off, add on this little extra thing that never existed, and that's aspirin. So they get a patent. Then ibuprofen says, we want to make our product. So then ibuprofen adds on a little extra something else that never existed, that's different from the aspirin, and then that becomes a new product. But they're all the same. They're all COX-1 inhibitors, and they all cause liver failure, kidney loss, and bleeding disorders, and then also stomach ulcers.
Well, a lot of them are not just for pain relief. A lot of it is for thinning the blood, and a lot of it isn't for pain relief, or most of it is for pain relief, right?
Well, again, like if you look at so I was in Thailand last year talking about how to prescribe natural pain relievers, and the peak levels, all that kind of stuff, and then the half-lives and saturation. And so during that, you look at the mechanisms by which it blocks. And so, if we block COX-1 inhibitors, if we block the cyclooxygenase or COX-1 pathway, we block the pain pathway. But it also blocks the thromboxane pathway, which is why they use it for cardiovascular. So they're going to shut down your pain and block clotting to thin your blood. But 50% of people that take ibuprofen, let's say, for every 10,000 that get benefit, 14,000 will die from the side effects. So you're 50% more likely to die of the side effect of thinning the blood than the benefit of thinning the blood, right? But we just do it anyways, because that's all we have. Because we have lots of heart attacks in America since 1910, when we started consuming massive amounts of sugar. But if you go to Europe, your body's fine, you're fine, it's okay. You have 70% less heart attacks, right? So, you know, that food is medicine that other countries do, right? If you just do what they do, you get 70% less heart attacks, and you don't have to get a bleeding disorder from aspirin, right?
Right.
Eat crap, get a bleeding disorder, right?
It's a cycle. It never ends unless we make a choice to stop.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, like people in Europe, one is they have a really good time with their life.
Right.
There's a whole nother,
right.
There's a whole nother side to once you decide to stop that vicious cycle,
Yeah.
then you also have your life. Maybe some people that has never had that kind of a life, you know, like it changes.
Holy shit.
Like all of a sudden you're like, I'm a new me because
Right.
I changed everything that I've been doing since I was a kid. And
Yeah, you know what?
making the decision to make the change with food,
yeah.
with lifestyle, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, because you can't live a shitty life and just eat healthier and then suddenly it's better. You're still gonna have those problems. 40% of heart attacks are during episodes of anger.
That's right.
So
That's
we're
right.
one of the angriest nations there is actually. I'm from Texas, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But you're exactly right. Like it's funny because there's this question we ask. We do a lot of like hormone balancing at the office, and we basically balance hormones by stop exhausting hormones. You never want to take hormones. So with balancing it, you say, how are you exhausting your hormones? So through resiliency processes, one of the questions we ask everybody is, what brings you joy? Like, what recharges you? What fills up your bucket, right? And for me as a guy, that's the easiest freaking question there is. I go hiking, I do meditation, I go for walks, I hang out with friends, I drink martinis. You know, I got 50 things that I could say. And then the second question we ask is, are you actually doing those things?
Right.
And of course with me, hell yeah. You know, for a while I wasn't. I was very, very unhappy. But I knew all my things that make me happy. I just wasn't plugging in and doing it.
Right.
So guess what the number one answer is when we ask women over the last 17 years, when we ask women, what do you do that brings you joy, that fills up your bucket, that just recharges you? And you know what the number one answer is?
The spa?
No.
Give me a hint.
It's just a blank stare. Like
To
it
be
is.
seen? To be seen? To see?
No,
To
it's
just look?
It's just they have no earthly idea.
Oh.
Because hey, there's Aaliyah.
That was a trick question. Hey, Leah.
No, like so women in America. So you're talking about like Europeans. You know, they go to the beach, they go have fun, they have paid vacations, they have 30 days of holidays.
There's plenty of cafes
you know?
and stuff.
You have an hour to 2 hours for like lunch and social time every day. And so Americans, we're just driving. So we got to get more stuff, right? And so women, I don't know if you know this, are martyrs. Did you know that?
Yes.
Mothers are the
Sometimes.
ultimate martyrs. And so I always say a mom will give every drop of her blood to her children and then feel guilty as she lays dying on the floor because she has no more blood to give as she lays dying.
At times.
And
yes.
ain't nobody gonna help her. Nobody. If you become the sacrifice, if you become the martyr, ain't nobody gonna pick you up and plug you back in. So then that idea of like constantly like when you like women in America tend to lose their identity because when they start dating someone, they're just like, I'm gonna do everything he does, except for Aaliyah. Don't listen to this. That's not true. These are good ideas. So they will say like, I'll just do his stuff. I'll watch his shows. I'll listen to his movies. You know, like I have a patient that's like, oh, I hate going on vacation because the guys just go fishing and do their stuff, and then I have to make the food. No, you don't.
Yeah.
Why aren't you doing something? So when you ask, what are you doing to recharge? They don't have identities. They've been sacrificing for that spouse or that boyfriend or girlfriend, and they've been sacrificing their entire life for their children, and they have no freaking clue how to like actually like have a joyful life.
Well, you know, that's a good point because I even said spa as an answer to your...
You were like right there though. What's that about?
But how many times have I been to a spa in the last 5 years?
Yeah, so...
I mean, one time. one time, and it was because someone gave me a gift certificate. Thank you very much, Carol.
Okay, I know what to get you for Christmas
But
now.
that, I know, right? But that is, it's really very difficult for people, even in general, even men, to take that time to recharge their internal selves.
Yeah.
Hormones are guys too. It's not just women.
Yeah,
So,
but men will
but
typically do stuff.
women, it happens there's a whole different style of hormone imbalance in women than it is with men. And they're just now finding out that men do have an imbalance in hormones.
Yeah,
We talked about this briefly in our
Yeah.
first.
But women go through menopause, and they
Yeah.
pull their hair out, yell at everybody, and then men go through andropause, and they get divorced, buy a Corvette, and
I used to call it womanopause before it was actually ever out.
Yeah.
Like, I know, because you think about some of the older men and how cranky they get when they get older.
yeah,
What is it saying?
yeah. Linda says the same thing.
So yeah.
Yeah,
So I don't know. It's probably 15 years ago when I said, no, I think there's a menopause, and then I started thinking how funny those words were in combination to that, because it's like womanopause, because the woman goes through a hormone shift and things change. They get sensitive, they cry, they yell, whatever it is that they exhibit as a symptom. I just lost my train of thought.
that's menopause.
I'm just teasing. Yes, it is menopause. So when we pause from men,
Oh, I see where you're going.
and then yeah.
All right, so
Good catch.
what's
by the way.
what's going on here?
And that happens too. So
Yes.
yeah, and it's the same thing with menopause, because it's
Yeah,
a pause for men
yeah.
from whatever.
So that's the thing, is you cannot exhaust your hormones. You cannot not recharge your body and then try to eat your way back to happiness. It ain't gonna happen. But we're talking about food now.
We're talking about food.
We'll talk about food now. Okay.
Okay.
So if you look at something like heart disease, so we started talking about heart
Yep.
disease a little bit, right? So years ago, I learned at Harvard, they had these cardiovascular studies for first-time heart attack, second-time heart attack. Hey, Jessica. Jessica
Hey.
said I posted that picture in the park.
I'm gonna
It
have to
was
use
like-
my glasses.
How do you recharge?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm getting vitamin D, and I'm, doing all this. And Jessica says something about like a farm. She lives on a farm, and then I think she has goats.
Hey, Ellen.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. I'm sorry, I'm not paying attention to the.
Jessica, do you have goats? All right. So, hey, Jessica. So, with those cardiovascular studies, they found that when they looked at, like, hey, there's Ellen. Aw.
Ellen.
So
We love her.
I know, we're all good. So, one thing is with fish. So, when we talk about the COX-2 pathway and the cyclooxygenase pathway, COX-1, COX-2, and 5-LOX pathway, fish, actually when you eat fish, it's a 5-LOX pathway blocker. It's one of the 3 doors for pain inflammation. So, one serving of fish is as effective as 1 full-strength ibuprofen for getting rid of pain and inflammation, and it lasts for days, right? So that anti-inflammatory effect lasts for days when you eat fish. So then you don't have days of knee pain and backaches and headaches,
Right.
because you're constantly dosing this with your food. So 1 serving of fish, like salmon, is the same as full-strength ibuprofen without killing kidney and liver in the process or getting a bleeding disorder. So that's why you look at other countries and you say, well, why do they have 70% less heart attacks? Well, they eat things that prevent heart attacks. So fish actually has 9 different ways by which it reverses heart disease. And in America, we will consume more coffee than we consume fish. So we're cool with stress, but we are not going to ever eat anything that prevents anything. So those 9 different ways. So when you eat fish, we turned out the lights. So here we go. Am I dramatic?
And yeah. And hi, Kimberly.
Okay. Ready?
Ready?
According to research, okay, it blocks platelets. So when you eat fish, those omega-3s. Now this is true too for grass-fed, grass-finished beef, also, and then free-range vegetarian, or sorry, free-range birds. So not vegetarian-fed birds, because that's us feeding it. Birds are not vegetarian. So when you eat those foods, when you change the way that you eat these foods, it blocks platelet aggregation, which is what aspirin is supposed to be doing, except it doesn't kill you in the process. So that prevents clots. It reduces blood vessel constriction, so it literally lowers blood pressure. It increases blood flow, so those that have erectile dysfunction, not me, and there's girl erectile dysfunction. You know what that's called?
Nope.
That's good that you don't know. That was a test. So
anyway,
there's a thing, because men.
Well, I mean, blood flow has a lot to do. Blood flow has a lot to do with the heart and everything else that functions correctly.
Well, that's true too, but nobody cares about that. We're talking about sex.
No, I'm not.
No, you're not. Okay.
Not.
You're talking about
This
heart
is not.
disease. No, that's important. There's a lot of guys that have erectile
It
dysfunction,
is. I
and
absolutely
they should
agree.
be eating a bunch of fish instead of
You
drinking
know,
coffee.
I think you're
Coffee
right.
constricts the blood vessels, increasing erectile dysfunction. Fish opens it up to prevent erectile dysfunction. See?
There you go.
I'm helping my bros out.
FYI.
But there's a thing for women too, just like we have menopause. There's also a thing where women have lack of blood flow to their genitals, and it decreases sensation and stuff.
Absolutely. That is part of hormone deficiency.
That's right. So they need to eat more fish. Okay, dramatic.
And eat the fish that just say fish.
Yeah, no trisodium phosphate.
Nope.
You know, none of that crap.
Nope.
All right, dramatic removal of glasses. That just means I'm older. Okay. It lowers fibrinogen, which prevents clots. It increases fibrolytic activity. Now, all scar tissue in your body is fibrin. So you can do fibrolytic enzyme therapy, and so you can pay $50 for a supplement to break down scar tissue so you can get your shoulder back or your ankle back, right? Or your nickel back.
Whoops.
So,
Did you catch it?
such a bad joke.
I got it.
So, I don't know why I say this stuff. So
Oh, it's been a really good week, y'all.
every time you...
Good weekend.
It has been a great
It
week.
was.
Yes.
Yeah.
And our friends got married.
Oh.
And that other guy, Scott.
Our
In the
friend
most
Scott.
beautiful church ever.
Yeah, St. George.
St. George
Orthodox. Yeah.
Insane
beautiful.
picture.
Yeah.
So this means every time you eat fish, you are literally breaking down scar tissue so your body heals back and you can get all your range of motions back. Like it's supposed to be that way, right?
Yeah.
The other thing is, clots are the thing that you do to break up clots are like nattokinase. And nattokinase you can buy as a supplement, or you can just eat your damn fish, right? So that fish literally breaks up clots so you don't have heart attacks and strokes.
Well, what is somebody going to eat when they don't like fish? What's an alternative to that?
God dang Americans. Okay. They had this study about this new green tea capsule, right? They grind the green tea up and they put it in a capsule, and then you can just drink water and take a green tea capsule. So they had a doctor from India test this, and then they said, what do you think about these green tea capsules? And he said, yeah, if you're too lazy to boil water, then I think this is a good idea. And that's the thing, is we have plenty of time for TV, we have plenty of time for movies, we have plenty of time for Facebook, we have plenty of time for Twitter, but we can't boil some water and take that moment to do this one thing right, you know?
Right.
On Radiolab, I love it because it's this black guy that does this radio kind of stories all the time. It's Stories with a Beat, I think. You guys watch that? I love Radiolab. Do you listen to that?
I don't.
Don't
I'm
worry.
trying to read notes.
You'll get there, girl.
Eat more fish.
So, on there, he was talking about when he was growing up, someone taught him to make green tea, matcha green tea from scratch with a little whisk and all this, right? And he said, no matter what you do all day, do this one thing right. And so that was his thing. It was just like whatever chaos there is in life, he does this very slow, kind of meticulous process to make his matcha tea. And it gives you that permission of like, this is my moment.
That's right.
I get to have this moment, right? So that moment.
I mean, it takes like 5 minutes. 5 minutes a day.
5 minutes.
That's not very much.
A lot of people can make love 3 times in that amount of time.
Yeah.
Oh, I see you know that one. Okay. So then.
Oh, y'all.
I just set you up for stuff. That's all I do. Okay. So it lowers triglycerides. So again, triglycerides are not a measure of fat. It is triglycer. So it's actually 3 fatty acids. Should be written different, but triglycerides. So it's 3 fatty acids that are bound to 1 glycerol or 1 sugar molecule. And then that is your way of taking excess sugar that you consume in your diet and converting it to fat. So added sugar, not fruit. Added sugar then becomes fat for us, right? Fat does not make us fat. Sugar makes us fat. So that means that people will have high triglycerides, and typically it just means, stop eating all the damn sugar, right? But that means if you eat fish, you can occasionally maybe drink a soda and not be absolutely perfect. So when you look at, like I was in Japan, in Okinawa. Well, that's not Japan, but I flew from Tokyo to Okinawa. Have you been there?
I think I have, actually.
Damn, girl. All right.
In Japan? Yeah, Tokyo is what I was trying to think of the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
I was at the resort, and there was these cyclists on the island, and they were just, I mean, badass, super fit, cycling, and then all of a sudden they stopped and they were doing a smoke break. And you're like, what the hell's going on here, right? Are you healthy or are you not?
Over there. Yeah.
But you can do some bad if you do a whole bunch of good. So you're not going to have heart attacks and strokes if you're constantly eating every meal to break up clots for strokes.
Right.
So
absolutely. That's a really good analogy.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Do I get a gold star?
Yep.
Sweet.
Ding.
Gold star.
There you go.
And then it raises antioxidant HDLs. Now HDLs, high density lipoprotein, there's no bad cholesterol. In fact, never lower cholesterol, because cholesterol is your progesterone, testosterone, vitamin D, anti-aging hormone.
Right.
If you want to feel awesome, you better not mess with your freaking cholesterol. Because if we believe cholesterol causes heart disease, that means we believe that God hates Americans, but only recently because he hates our freedom, right? Because if you go to Europe and you live and eat and drink like they do, your cholesterol is higher, up to 240, 250, and you have 70% less heart attacks. So either good cholesterol like socialism and bad cholesterol or hates capitalism, or we're just causing heart disease with inflammation and blaming on cholesterol. Just like we did eggs and meat and fat, but we haven't said sugar, which is when heart disease actually spiked up. And
good to know.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, Linda said a minute ago, I eat silvers of ginger root for anti-inflammation.
Ooh, that's a
one.
COX-2 inhibitor. That is a very powerful pain reliever.
Yeah.
So every cup of ginger tea, or every time you put ginger in your tea, or if you make a ginger turmeric water or something like that in your drink, you are dramatically getting rid of pain, inflammation, and busting clots and cleaning arteries.
Yeah, and you know, this stuff is so easy to get to these days. I mean, it's been, wow, when I first started dabbling in this stuff 25-something years ago.
Well, you're not even that old.
Oh, thanks.
When you were 5, you started dabbling in this?
Right. Let's go with that.
Let's go.
Yeah. So, I mean, when I first started looking into this, I mean, it was not available. You had to go to a New Age bookstore, and in the side of it, they had some co-op vegetables, and there might be some herbs and stuff. It was hard to find.
Yeah. No, even when I first started practicing like this, like, oh, you can't do dairy, do a nut milk. Where do I get nut milk? I don't know. You gotta do wild caught, because corn-fed stuff's inflammatory. Where do I get wild caught?
Well, you know, think about this too. If anybody knows, when did the sort of, I think Trader Joe's might have been one of the first sort of bigger bigger natural food stores.
You know why it's called Trader Joe's?
That's got to be trivia. Let's
Because
do a trivia.
there used to be a store called Joe's, and he sold a bunch of processed crap, right? Just like everybody else, so like Dylan's. And then he broke away and started selling natural products that were healthy, and they labeled him Trader Joe.
Well, because
That's
in
not
their
true.
line of work,
That's not true.
well, it kind of makes for a good story.
It does.
Because, you know, it is kind of taken away from the,
Yeah.
the
And Trader Joe's is where people that don't know how to make food go to eat healthy food. Would you agree?
Yeah.
My ex-girlfriend was always going there, and I was going with her. It was just all like pre-packaged, but it was healthy. There wasn't bad stuff in them. And so I'm just like, but it's not real food, but it's okay. And I was just like, damn it. I wish I could talk trash about it.
You just kind of did.
But it's good. They
really
are
good
good.
stuff.
They
Yeah,
are
it is
good.
good.
It's a good place. They have good food, but it's just kind of like, come on, just make some food.
Right. Well, you know, one thing is that if you look at everything that you see, I mean, almost everything in the grocery store, unless you're in the fresh vegetables section, most everything is processed. I don't even walk down the middle aisles anymore unless
No.
I need to get some chips.
I have like 4 aisles that I go through, and chips is one. I get chips for the girls.
Well, but they're making really good, decent chips. Sometimes it's just potato and oil.
I go down
They
the
do
Asian
avocado
one
oil now.
for seaweed and poke
Yeah.
for the girls,
Yep.
and then I go through the chip one, and that's it.
I think so for me too.
So like my store.
Unless I'm cooking something specific for a party or something like that, I might need to go down.
You've been having parties and don't invite me? Damn it.
I
that's some
actually
bull
did have a
crap.
party and invited you, but you were out of
You did
town.
not invite me.
You went hiking.
Oh yeah, okay. That might be true.
That was true.
All right.
That's true. So I do invite you.
So, raising HDL. So there's no bad cholesterol, but there is really, really good cholesterol. So HDLs are high density lipoproteins, and walking in healthy oils is how you do that, right? So you should have at least about 55 or greater for that number. But most people it's very low, and that's I love HDLs because that will tell you what their lifestyle is like. Are they actually moving with purpose?
Right.
Are they actually eating healthy nuts and seeds and cold pressed oils and fish?
That's what I've been doing that for about 2.5 months now.
What?
Just doing a lot of walking.
Oh yeah.
I mean, sometimes twice a day. And I lost about 20 pounds and just changing my diet again. And yeah.
My
can be done.
dad lost 40 pounds when he had diabetes because they cut off a leg.
Oh.
It's true though. Okay. It's not funny, but it's true.
That's really not
Kind of funny.
funny.
It's very morbidly funny. Okay. It increases membrane flexibility, and that's a really interesting one. So a lot of times people have arteriosclerosis, and that is hardening of the arteries. So if you do your blood pressure, and you calm down, and your blood pressure returns to normal, then that is not damage to your arteries. But if you can't get that low number to ever go low, that's because the arteries have become stiff. So, what do we take to unstiffen arteries? We eat some damn fish.
Aspirin.
No, not aspirin.
That's what we were talking about earlier.
We-
Don't take aspirin.
we
Natural food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if you eat fish or wild caught meat or free range, grass fed, grass finished, like those kind of things, not corn fed, it literally should improve your arteries. And then lowers blood pressure again. 9 completely separate ways by which it reverses heart disease. 9 different ways. So that omega-3 pathway in our body from fruits and vegetables. So like if you look at Zhejiang University, they said green tea, drinking real green tea, not 7-Eleven, but real green tea, actually busts clots and lowers your risk of heart disease dramatically. There are Swedish studies that showed that fruits and vegetables with all the omega-3s in, the fiber in there, scrub out your arteries, right? We know turmeric and ginger scrub out your arteries and they block pain and inflammation. They prevent heart attack and stroke. And then we know that even anti-inflammatory meat does that too. So when they say meat causes heart disease, that's not true. Inflammation does, right? So, what are we missing? So we call that the Mediterranean diet, the Okinawa diet, the Costa Rican diet, the everybody but America diet, right? So in America, we consume more coffee than fish, so we have to figure this stuff out. We're eating a bunch of inflammatory seafood, inflammatory cows, inflammatory fish, and birds, and we're feeding everything corn, and then we get that inflammation when we eat that animal, and then it dramatically increases our heart attacks, right? Literally.
Lots of things.
The four things that increase, or the four things that happen if you eat inflammatory meat, is literally causes more pain and inflammation, causes hypertension or high blood pressure, causes irregular heartbeats, and it causes clots, which means more heart attack, more stroke. Like it literally, inflammation is the base of heart disease. And when you look at the inflammatory to anti-inflammatory diet of Americans, for every one anti-inflammatory fatty acid we eat in our food, we eat 40 times the inflammatory. So we should be the most disease-ridden nation with heart disease and pain and inflammation and hypertension. That's exactly what should happen with that.
Yeah.
So.
And we're proving it. We are proving it. All right.
And Harvard did this other study where they said, well, what about second heart attacks? Because if you had one heart attack, you're about 80% chance you're going to have another heart attack in the second year.
Right.
So, if you don't change what you caused the first one, you're just going to have another one. So that, with food, they did this study and they said, well, let's do a study of low fat versus, what? Let's see what they said. Fish and fruits and vegetables? Yep. Oh, no, just lots of fruits and vegetables. Oh, yeah. Fish twice a week, plus lots of fruits and vegetables, versus a low fat diet. And guess which one worked?
Fish.
So fish and fruits and vegetables lower blood pressure, bust up clots, scrub the arteries back to normal, gets rid of all that plaquing, increases cell flexibility, all that. Low fat does not. High fat anti-inflammatory omega-3 fat literally versus heart disease. It's not a fat thing. It's just inflammatory or non-inflammatory.
That, that's amazing because we talk about it like it's just happening. If you think about it, I mean, everything that we take into our body, like I said about the banana, banana becomes us. And so if we have foods like that we take in, it changes on a cellular level. I mean, it just
all the way to
like
genetic.
It's like a chain reaction.
All the way to genetic. Like literally every time you drink red wine and green tea, eat cruciferous vegetables, it literally changes your genetics.
Yes.
And it seems crazy to say that, but your genetics came from food.
That's right. And it changes your genetics, and it changes your energy, it changes who you are as a person, it changes your lifestyle, it changes how you interact with different stresses. Oh, I could just go on and on.
You should.
Yeah. I mean, if you talk about energy, well, I'm not talking about the kind where you run in the house and you're like, I'm so tired, I can't, kids, go make your own food.
I'm seeing where you're going.
Yeah, well, I don't really know where I'm going. I think I was, oh, that was dramatic.
No, because you're talking about like that.
It's just really, the whole process, the food, the intake of chemicals, all of that, once we start untwisting all of that and stop taking that into our bodies start responding. Hence the ailments that we're healing, first of all, and that just goes into every other aspect of our life. You can't be it's just
in a good
the
relationship
change.
if you feel like shit all the time. If you eat, even
or a job,
so they should have it on job applications like, what you be eating? How you be eating? Are you coping with food?
Are you pretty healthy?
Are you happy?
Right. And I think I actually have interviewed over my lifetime where they did ask those questions in a format, some kind of like what not necessarily what you eat or what you know your movements are every day. It was about who you are as a person. How do you react in this kind of situation? Because when they see that you have this like wild answer, like I ain't doing that, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I said it like that, but I'm not going to do that or whatever. Then they're going to wonder. There's some formula that they make that says if they don't want to be that, they're probably likely to be unhealthy in areas in their life, other areas. So that might be a choice that they don't hire you.
Yeah.
Because it's a real potential.
And you'll see this all the time. So like, let's say someone stays up too late watching TV or on Facebook too late. Right. They don't get enough sleep. So then they're just, oh, I'm so tired. Mm-hmm. So then they're going to get some coffee. The coffee will jack them up and then they'll crash. And then all of a sudden they need a soda. And then they do the same thing and then they can't sleep because they're jacked up on the caffeine. So then they just keep repeating the cycle over and over and over. And then they feel sad and they burn out the hormones. So then I'll just eat cheeseburgers and pizza and I'll drink beer and then I'll drink boxes of Fraggia wine. What's the name of the wine?
I don't know. It's been a while since I've been to the liquor store.
Okay, see,
hey,
he's
I
a
want
good
to talk
choice.
about that.
What? The liquor store?
Yeah, I actually quit drinking a couple months ago.
Water and everything?
No,
what?
Just alcohol.
Just alcohol?
Yeah. I think I've had a couple glasses of wine here and there, but I didn't feel good drinking it.
Yeah. Well, when you
stop.
Well,
because I was doing Chardonnay because it's summer, but.
Chardonnay.
Yeah. So, you know, having a glass of wine once a week, 2 days a week, whatever.
Yeah.
But I just haven't had the desire for it. But I just feel like even things like that, like if you're drinking too much alcohol, I mean,
right.
There's alcoholism,
well,
but it can, no matter if you're an alcoholic or not, it can actually affect personality and
right.
the way we take in food and vitamins and nutrients too. And I'm not saying stop drinking or nothing.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
After 3 martinis, I realized I will eat crap. I will.
It's true.
Otherwise, I'm just like an oak, like, I'm not doing it.
Otherwise, you wake up in the morning and what do you want? Because you've taken in all that that's converted into sugar. Right. So
that's why I do like a teenth of crack, just to get you back to baseline, right?
I have no idea. I don't know about that stuff. Y'all probably think I'm doing
I'm just probing to see if you're just
never
like.
been in society before, but I don't know anything about that stuff.
You should have been like, yeah, you know.
Yeah, what?
So, I mean, basically, we end up in these kind of cycles all the time where we.
Franzia. Franzia.
Oh,
yeah,
Franzia.
That's it.
Yeah,
Thanks,
They got recalled this year.
They sure did.
For too much arsenic.
That's right, and it got quiet fast.
Yeah.
If you look it up online, there's still some articles online about it.
Yeah, and they did not. The wine companies did not recall their own wine, and so then they created a federal wine, I think, recall. Maybe I don't know if did they recall it. It was a bunch of companies.
They did.
Bunch of companies.
They did, and.
So if you guys drank that and you got violently ill, it was probably arsenic poisoning.
Look it up.
It was a whole bunch of wine companies. Yeah. It was like 20 different wine companies.
Yes, because it's not just Franzia that processed their grapes. They all did. Mm-hmm. So look it up. It's very interesting.
I'm always like.
But anyway, I still think that, you know, everything that we take in and on that cellular level affects who we are and what our personalities are. And if we had time, I'd talk a little bit more about, but we don't.
We will make time.
I just really feel like, you know, our energy we have in our bodies, because our bodies are made up of energy as well, and how our muscles function, it all streamlines together. All of the food, all of the genetics, all of the cellular structure, everything that we are that is the same makeup other places, everything is made of energy. So we're really deciding how to live our lives and who we are by what we eat and what that creates as far as our personality and what our energy is throughout that.
No, that's exactly right. Because you're like, I posted this other day because, you know, I spent probably 15 years just eating my feelings. And you know, like I was just like, I
Oh,
was
it'll get ya.
I was using that
It'll
to make
get
me
ya.
happy when I was
Right.
not happy. And then all of a sudden my body didn't look like my body anymore. And then that really made me unhappy. And so then you just keep eating more pizza and drinking soda, and you just kind of, yeah, and it's just
You
like,
turn into a different personality.
yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You really do, yeah.
I mean, you know, even on a mental, physical level, we change, and that's why sometimes it's really difficult for people to pull themselves out of something they've been in for so long.
Yeah.
You know, so that's understandable, but really, it's all about making a decision. Making a decision to change that thought process first, and then move into the action, and really take a good look at it. Who do you want to be? You know, do you want to continue being unhealthy and have ailments and physical disabilities or
Right.
whatever? I mean,
You can't be a good mom if you're feeling like shit all the time. You can't be a good wife if you're feeling like shit all the time.
No, and
you
it's
can't
our-
be a good husband if you feel like shit all the time. Like,
Yeah.
it changes the whole dynamics of everything. Everything.
and we all have the right and the ability to do that. So we all really have an opportunity to really live life to a really significant, extraordinary experience, and the degree of where you want to go with that. But we all are capable of doing that, and this is really all part of it. Just food and what you take in, and who you, how you speak, and all the energy that goes along with that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So keep doing what you're doing.
no, what if they're doing bad stuff?
No, I mean, keep doing what you're doing to move forward.
Oh, move forward,
move forward to healthy and happy,
You deserve
making
to be
life
happy.
decisions. Yeah,
I think sometimes people need to hear that they deserve to be happy.
absolutely.
I don't
mean,
think I ever felt that way.
Are any of you out there? You know, I think maybe it was Linda that said earlier that she really doesn't do much for herself, and that is really important.
Welcome to the Female Club of America there,
Yeah,
Linda.
that's what we were talking about. That, like, how do females get?
You gotta SID that.
Yeah.
Shut it down.
Yeah. So it's really important to really care
Yeah.
about ourselves enough to make the decision to start this change in the process of
You know,
understanding food and what not to eat and what everything's doing to us on a cellular level.
So Harvard did this other study where they looked at like prevention of heart attacks, and then they did, so out of all these foods, they were like, okay, what 4 foods were the most effective overall for preventing heart disease? And it was red wine, nuts, onions, and garlic.
Ooh, onions. The onions kind of surprises me.
How
What's
ma-
in onions? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, onions actually fixes your DNA. The sulfur that's in onions is part of the epigenetic process.
That's what my thing's been. I don't eat onions.
Oh, yeah. Well, do you like garlic?
Yeah, but
Well, what about sweet onions? So there's like 20 different types of onions. They cook different ways.
whoa.
What do you eat?
I don't eat any onions.
What about purple onions?
Sometimes in soups and stuff.
Yeah. You should try different onions.
I will.
Yeah.
I'll see how it works out.
Yeah, reunite with onions. And you know, your taste buds only take 2 weeks to change. So like I used to like get violently like ill at the idea of like peppers, onions, olives, and guacamole. Like I would gag.
You mean together?
No.
Oh.
Just saying. And in fact, my mom, like I grew up in a pretty horrible childhood, and we had our good moments though.
Yeah.
But pizza was like it was like, we're getting heroin delivered to the house, right? And so like that pizza is just like, I would be so happy. I'm gonna get so much morphine. I'm gonna be so happy. And then I hated vegetables. Like and my mom would get these garbage pizza. We call them garbage pizza.
Yeah,
Supreme.
yeah.
Supreme
Yeah,
pizzas.
yeah.
So she would get Supreme pizzas, and then I would open up. I'd be so excited. Open up the box and it's Supreme, and I would just start crying, and my whole life just like my heart would break.
Yeah.
And it would just be
'cause
so
you'd be like
sad.
constantly picking stuff off your pizza and
I
end
know.
up with bread.
And my mom was like, "Well, you can just pick it off." Like it still has a flavor, right? But
Yeah.
now I can eat that stuff, And it
Yeah.
doesn't bother me at all. And I love guacamole.
Of course.
But it's weird because I'm like, how did I go from like having a nauseated reaction to now a pleasure reaction? It's the same food, but my perception of the food, how I thought about food, was very different. And I think it changed my taste buds.
Was it something to do with age? No, seriously. I mean, my
As
oldest
a 30-year-old, I would like to say that's probably not true.
Excuse me. My oldest son, when he's 27 now, but when he was 5, we went to.
Oh, did I go to high school with him?
Probably. We went to eat sushi when he was 5 years old. I mean, it was like, it's just a different era where we're offering things to our children. Where you and I, growing up, we had like,
No. My kids eat
the
tofu
Asian?
and they eat sushi every week. Every week. I never ate sushi at all till I was like 30. I didn't even know. Like, that was what, like, fancy people do, you know? And then now I'm like, this is just my lunch. Like, I don't even know why it's a big deal.
The same,
like, why was it a big deal?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's like eating at Red Lobster.
Well, we just didn't have it when we were kids, though.
Yeah.
I don't think there was sushi anywhere. I think I watched
Did you
some
guys
of
eat
the food
sushi when you were kids?
shows. Did you guys eat sushi when you were kids?
But they probably all fancy.
I ate a lot of candy.
They were living on that
as
side of the
kids.
road. Where kids like me weren't allowed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Darn it. Anyway.
So yeah, so my daughters, my first one, I was feeding her
crazy,
mac
isn't
and
it?
cheese and fish sticks and corn on the cob because I was like, I'm a good dad, and it has like all the food groups,
Yeah.
And then I started
Glass of
learning all
milk.
this stuff, and I was just like, oh, I'm killing everybody. Like, this is awful. So then all that stuff changed as I got more kids. But so now the girls like eat edamame, and they eat tofu and tempeh, and then they eat. I mean, my daughter will just eat salad, just as just lettuce as a meal kind of stuff, and like all this stuff that they still will eat their crap, and we still get crap once in a while, but it's like maximize the good, minimize the bad, and you're fine. But I cannot believe that my children eat so differently than I ever did.
Yes.
And they have a whole different. Again.
Yes.
If you think about like those food colors make your kids dumber, but then like there's lots of nuts and seeds and berries and fruits and vegetables literally make them smarter. You give them a whole different life to live like that, and it ain't gonna be perfect. But the fact that if your school lunches are now more toxic than smoking cigarettes, and so like it literally dumbs down people. So we have 8% smaller brains by the time we become obese, and 4% smaller brains by the time we become overweight. Those neurotoxic chemicals that we're pumping into children literally dumbs everybody down, and then they have less ability to function and behave, and then they have a whole different life outside of that. Different connections, different ability to have relationships versus someone that is able to eat those foods, or that was a normal thing.
Right. Right.
I mean, my girls are eating so when we go to Wasabi, they always know, because I have the 2 twin redheads, and they're just always like, you guys want the wasabi on top, so they get little orange fish eggs on their sushi,
Love it.
and I'm just like, what planet do we live on? Because that's super healthy.
Oh,
Yeah.
good stuff.
Plus,
That's really high in omega-3s, isn't it?
Yeah, and you feel
Yeah.
super strong eating eggs from fish. So like you get the power of a grown person and little babies. little
You heard
unfertilized
that.
ovums. Okay, so we didn't get very far at
We really
all.
didn't.
Yeah, this
Boy,
was.
it went by really fast today.
Yeah, this was like my first prom.
I want to tell y'all, this is really cool stuff. I don't know if you can see it or not, but Dr. G uses this.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
snorted.
coconut creamer, and it like has really cool. It's got even seaweed in it.
That's how I got off cocaine. I just snort that now.
It's got seaweed and peas and
Coconut.
I don't know.
So it's coconut
Anyway,
creamer,
I
but it's
haven't actually
powder.
read that.
And they have them in little packets too,
Yeah.
so you can take them with you.
Yeah.
And you just. So that's what I do.
Yeah, great alternative to sugar.
Yeah. Yep.
Thanks.
All right. Well, like Click and Clack say, you've wasted another hour with us. So we didn't
We're
get very
glad
far.
you're
We talked.
here.
We got like through heart diseases, foods, and medicine. So we'll
Yep.
talk about cancer next time.
Okay.
How long can you keep showing up?
As long as you want me
keep
to.
stringing this thing on forever.
Yeah, let's do.
We only let people get this much information.
We have a good time here.
That's right.
And we're glad y'all are joining us. Pink.
What is that?
I don't know. Here, do it again.
Watch this. Squid.
Oh!
You do that?
No. I'm all new.
You gotta show your son this.
Okay.
Do you guys have a secret handshake? You and your son?
Not really.
Oh, you gotta do that.
I know.
I got those with my daughter.
I know. I should.
All kinds of good stuff.
We're gonna be doing all kinds of cool stuff this week.
Okay, so thank you guys for joining. I really appreciate it. Please share this. For everybody that shares, we're going to put your name in the hat and then draw a name, and you can have a free office visit, even telehealth. So we can go through supplements if you want and figure out if they're needed,
That's right.
toxic, all that kind of stuff. And then otherwise, if you guys know anybody that wants to reverse their health conditions, like they should come see me.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So I really appreciate Suzanne for joining us again.
Thank you for inviting me.
And she's one of my favorite people in the whole world.
Thank you.
And we want to shout out to Mariah and Scott were on here. Now they're married. They don't care about the show.
I think they're on their honeymoon.
Whatever. Where?
I don't know.
Where'd they go?
I'm not saying anything
Sandals?
else.
Did they go
I
on
don't
honeymoon?
know. I don't know.
It's
I don't know.
COVID. Where'd they go?
I don't know.
Lindsberg?
Ooh, Lindsberg's kind of cool.
No. It's
It's
okay.
pretty out there. I drove out there and sat in a field the other day, and absolute quiet and stillness.
Dang,
It was-
that's what I'm talking about.
I was like, I need to do that more.
Yeah.
So I used to live out in the country for a lot of years, and I really miss that.
Yeah.
The wind was blowing. That's all you could hear.
It'd be funny if you were like,
Awesome.
I was kept in a basement out in the country for years, and like that peace, so I like to go out in the country because it reminds me of the time, those years I was chained up in that basement. Like, I don't know why my mind goes. It's too many horror movies. It's too many.
I think you do watch too
It's
many
watching too much
horror
damn
movies.
Dexter. Okay, my mind goes crazy places.
I'm gonna go back to the really cool.
Okay,
space
so
that I was in.
so you're creating this beautiful like thing, and I'm over there. So it's just like all my pictures.
Oh.
So all my photo pictures, Jamie's always like, I take a picture of just like a normal thing, and then I tweak it, make everything look
You should check
creepy
those out.
and bizarre.
Oh, they're edgy. That's what I'm
Edgy.
calling it.
So then
they're
I take
very
your
edgy.
story,
Really
and then
cool.
I just make it edgy. I make it
Yeah.
CSI,
Yeah.
NCIS, something.
Something like that.
Oh, it's because I watch too much NCIS. That's what it is. Because that's what, it's
Probably.
always some weird, crazy thing. Okay,
Thank you, Adiva. Am
Adiva.
I reading that right?
Yeah,
Yes.
drummer.
And Jenny, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you guys.
All right.
Really appreciate you guys joining us. And this is episode 174. And 175 we'll do more food is medicine. And so again, of the 5 things that chronically keep you sick and dying prematurely, your doctor not knowing that food is actually biochemistry that makes you up, and it's your medicine. So, all right.
And I wish you all a beautiful, beautiful week and lots of really good energy.
We should have a we should have something where we have like you and Ellen Awe and maybe Mariah and a couple other women,
Mm-hmm.
and then talk about kind of like
Some of the Wise Women ICT
Empowering
empowerment
women.
stuff.
yeah, kind of like how to basically like hero's journey for women or something, or
Yeah.
energy, how to get your energy, how to get your
Y'all,
groove back.
Let us know if that's something you'd like. We've been talking about it.
Because I can't be all the time talking about that as a guy. Like, y'all need to take care of yourself. You got to stop martyring yourself, right?
Yeah.
But how do women do it? How do you get your groove back? How do you like, most women by 40, that's when they start doing marathons and triathlons.
That's right.
Because that's like the first time they're just like, wait,
Good point.
who can I be now?
Yeah.
But they just wasted 20 years of their life not being a person.
Let's go back to wasted, because we live our life as fully as we have the tools to do. Right? Don't you agree?
No, listen.
Okay.
You
But here's something I want to say about that. What? Go ahead.
So it says, do you have the skills to get out of a toxic relationship?
Do you have the skills?
So teaching women, maybe some guys, well, they need a lot of help, but we'll deal with women first. But teaching women the skills to get out of toxic relationships with others and themselves. What about that?
Yeah, it's first and foremost, it's a decision.
Mm-hmm.
Once you make that decision, your brain starts talking to your body,
Mm-hmm.
and vice versa. So, yeah, there are a lot of things that I'm studying right now that is in conjunction to that.
Nice.
So yeah, maybe we can start talking about that. Now, I think the second half of my life, I think I want to be a neuroscientist.
Yeah.
Would that I'd be in school the rest of my life, wouldn't I?
Yeah, but you can
Yeah.
still just learn neuroscience that you can apply on a daily life.
Oh, I would love
For
that
one.
because it's one and all. It's
Yeah.
one. It's all the same.
All right. So, Dr. G. Yeah.
Peace out.
Can you peace out? Bye,
Peace
guys.
out. Mwah.